to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
I've seen your pictures on Facebook and the introduction there.
Oh, well, I am
I've got to come
so
by.
thrilled to be here. I was like homeless and Sarah picked me up. Yeah. she
Yeah.
did.
I think it was,
Yes, we were.
but that's okay. We'll go with that.
Okay, it was a little lonesome. How about that?
Yes, you were,
You got
I wasn't
just fine. You were just fine.
Which, when I was in, we switched.
God,
spots, I
whenever
was
we
in
do the
front of
posts, like when I did the.
And. we went
Ex-
to the trustee football.
Did you see Donna again?
And Alex too.
And now I didn't see
Trust me.
out.
I gotta do that.
Yes,
Oh,
you can.
You're
Yes,
gonna
you
have to get me out of that.
It's not like.
I get like overwhelmed with it.
You need to start sharing it to, on,
I don't know how.
I'll
I
show
don't
you.
know share.
No, you girls, you girls.
Don't- I'm not very good at
and if what they,
And
the,
the
I mean,
guy-
people, I mean, they're commenting to you.
Sean is
You,
very cool.
like specifically, not so much to me, but more to you. When they do that, you need to go through the comments and then reply to
Okay,
them.
I'll do that.
And then just, so you're engaging with them and then they're gonna say more, but
Because I
my
just,
God.
because you see, I'm just like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just say, sometimes I just go love the comments or sometimes I'll
Okay.
This
message
is trying to get
like-
you. I was like.
thank you, so excited.
Yeah.
Can't, you know, big things, whatever you want to say to them.
I'm
She was
just
going
not
to make it
speechless, but
Never-
yeah,
Well, it's because it's social media and you don't, it's
I-
not your thing.
terrified of
Something
social
American
media.
living. Something like.
That's what, you know, did she tell you what we're up to? Well, I think I said she's been, Paul's family lives in Albany.
Oh, they-
I've been with her.
We stayed in Little, we took the trailer. we took
I
the
did,
truck
and I
along
really
the-
like my favorite thing.
We didn't know you could actually do it out of Auburn too, because if you want to store the people in-
It's like
get on there and go.
furniture just.
It's-
Can you hear me, Greg Curry? Is it on? Greg Curry is zooming. Yes. He said, I'm telling him zoom away.
Where is it?
He's right there.
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear
Connie,
me.
Greg?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, yeah, but do you know Connie?
I do not. Hi, Connie. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I saw you when you at one of the functions in Visalia when you were becoming president or something along
Yeah,
those.
we
My
went to that
installation?
installation.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was,
Yeah.
that was super fun.
Yeah. But nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I didn't even see you. Where are you? Do I see you?
Do you have your
Yes.
video? His video is off.
Are you dressed?
I am dressed.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
there he is.
Only from the wrist up.
I don't know how to zoom, so I'm learning as I go.
Well, during
Awesome.
COVID, we always saw you like that with your headphones on.
You look
Yeah.
very professional.
Yeah,
Like
well,
seriously, we're gonna take you
Yeah.
serious with those headphones on, Greg.
yeah, they're my grandsons, but they work well.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Are
that-
they frozen? Are those frozen?
They might be. It might be.
Oh, that's so funny.
There's Pam.
Oh, your hat matches.
Hi, Pam. Yeah, it's my grandson's baseball team. So
This brings me back to my presidency is in COVID.
You're in your
Connie
recliner.
COVID.
yeah.
See, I was president during COVID, so I met lots of people on Zoom. They had to come to my home and teach me how to Zoom because that's what we had to do.
Yeah, we had to take a lot of classes on Zoom too, but my wife was sitting here with me doing it, so it was kind of easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Pam. Did Liz tell you right there with that shooting the other day where it was at? On Westwood?
A shooting,
Sean had just left.
Oh, thank
a
you.
sh- a shooting right here.
Yeah, right on Westwood, right across,
Sean left?
technically it's our like.
Well, she was.
better.
She goes,
Right.
one of the people gonna lose, so she left. 50 minutes later, called me, and that might be.
And something happened on what yesterday?
Yep.
What happened?
Jeez.
Somebody died.
They killed the guy, they stabbed him, or shot the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was gunshots. Cindy and I were talking this morning, so we were looking at the senior, we were looking at all the things. They caught the guy that did the killing of Palm Tree Inn,
Not that.
and then.
Oh, yeah, so at the Palm Tree Inn, Colin was here for the CCW class this, and he said they got the call from the fire. Non-responsive. The body had been there 8 hours. They said he's not breathing. Not
He's
breathing.
dead. You need the coroner.
Well, they drug him from
Oh,
the
we
room
need to do
into the parking lot and left him there for 8 hours. Nobody called us anything, and then finally somebody called non-responsive. We don't think he's breathing. Yeah, he's dead.
Well, it's not- it's- Other kids. So I was looking at her, when she texted him, I'm like, oh. It was like within minutes, and she had just drove out.
I know. Telling you, being in the wrong place at the right place at the wrong time happens. But what happened on Morton down here yesterday with the 4 cop cars and an ambulance?
Yeah, they said that the guy was dead on the side. He had been, it was on the corner of the stinger. But I guess he was shot. And then they were arrested the guy that killed him.
I still.
Some of them are
But,
super-
because when I went by, there was the 4 cop cars and an ambulance, and then when my girlfriend went by, she said, oh, when I came back by, there was the sheriff there, so that coroner, somebody died. The CPD won't handle that. Look, those are the ones we know about.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, Morton, and at the same time, Morton's finally getting fixed the road. If you did, never said to me.
I was looking at all these listings up here, got a little bunch of luxury going on, I realized.
No,
that
that's
Those are like 1 at 1,072,000.
That's a total.
Oh,
He did 5.5.
oh,
5.5.
I was like, I need to be, wow, okay,
That's
So I did that
So
now.
the total units are.
okay, I was like, holy smokes. You don't want to.
Oh, over there.
Oh,
Oh,
how,
by Brandon, that's it, by Brandon, yeah.
She's pretty and it was like, I was really kind of.
I was saying.
Why don't you really on camera?
I still want her view, but.
You don't offer, just get it back.
Why don't you want to be on camera? Okay. All right, you guys.
I'm right there as well.
Okay. That is so
I
funny.
wonder that I do the same too. The last time I had the tripod right here, and I had the show, it's like, hey, never mind. I'm like, use the tripod.
She needs those for school.
Oh, we're gonna mute you, Greg.
Oh.
He's like, she
Jackie was
needs those.
talking, Jackie goes, we're gonna mute you now.
I didn't know that the meeting started, so it's kind
It
of like live
hasn't.
conversation
It's
going on.
Jackie's being mean, Greg.
I'm used to that.
Jackie's in a mood. Not really, not really.
Today, I'm gonna get these.
She's in a good mood. She's always.
That's so sad.
It's rare, it's more when I'm overly stressed, because I'm over
Oh.
shit.
Is that when you close your door and equipment only?
Uh-huh.
I remember that at Keller Williams.
What is this new listing that we got? That looks pretty.
The one on Korea.
Am I saying it for?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I saw that last night.
Is that, what part, is that Beverly Glen?
Yes, but
Outskirts?
Yeah.
Old Beverly Glen or
it's on the other side of the biz.
Does Rebecca have the one in Concord or
The one was,
which like?
by Pizza Hut and stuff. That little patch.
do you have somebody looking for something little like that?
Where's your little one?
Mine's gonna be, mine's coming tomorrow and it's out on 222. You know, there's Dogwood, Westwood Dogwood and that. 250. One on the acre. All new AC, all new flooring, everything.
A date.
Just two. It's a 2-in-1.
So
But
you
he
have
has
to
a
buy
little-
it, you get it.
We did.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I heard Kevin.
Yeah, it is
40.5
really, he redid.
Oh, you did.
And
And it just looks
all
so
new
good.
appliances, new
I didn't get
AC,
into
new
the
water
house
heater.
today.
everything.
I invited every.
I'm just waiting for Anthony to
That
take
he's
pictures,
worked
which is
every
not gonna take
agent.
long. There's not much to take.
CBRE since
He's gonna be-
2005.
Uh-huh.
You went. and-
Okay.
Yes, he's kind of busy.
And
Oh
so
my God.
I am.
Did you see that little baby?
Oh, Becky, you posted
She's so cute.
Best
I
time,
can't believe it.
because he went to Vegas.
Oh, for his 40th.
Oh,
Okay.
So I think it's normal. And I didn't really get into them myself, your son, because I just,
Well, he has a lot of. friends. We saw him up at Camp Nelson. They did at the cabin up there.
It's
And we really got to hang
cute.
out, so that was
It's,
plastic.
I don't know, somebody will buy it because what you get for $2.50, it's that. And for half an acre, and you can then maybe use it if you want to, I mean, it's kind of a long and narrow, but,
Yeah.
and it faces the school, you know, it faces that empty lot. There's, it's a field.
I-
across from it, so that's cool. It's Elderwood, I think, or
It's a
Elderwood,
very,
I can't remember, but it's,
Yeah.
they really
you
grew
tee off on
their-
Putnam.
If
If you're on Westwood, you go west on Putnam, it tees, you go right, and it sits right there, but there's just field across the street from it. It'd be great for some, I like a little family just getting started.
It's just in. It's a
Well, really,
brokerage
Okay.
that doesn't really believe in.
Well,
They just allow
Not just because
anybody are doing.
They.
In California with this one here. And it's just a very good.
All
support.
driven
You
by
get
numbers.
to share a lot of services and
That actually happens.
Middle or high.
yeah, I thought, yes, but you have to recruit. And it was
I feel
never
like
my
should be
intention to do that, because I was a boomer for a while.
Yeah.
That's the-
Terry's still.
Terry's still-
And
I think, I don't
who
know.
knows?
Jerry John, Jerry John. Well, so Jerry,
How close is she to Terry?
I don't think anybody else.
yeah. And Bloom's a great company. I just, you know, they went to Better Homes and Gardens. I didn't want to do another franchise, so real, my friends in Fresno.
Well, we go on
It's
vacation.
just with us, and okay. So I was there almost a year.
Yeah.
Great company, nothing except I just
Just don't want to recruit.
I don't want to recruit. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a
Fair about
boutique,
that.
yeah, kind of a
Yeah,
boutique,
yeah.
self-independent, yeah,
Well, there's different between recruiting and attract.
yes.
I don't recruit.
No, you know,
I don't
You just-
recruit. I attract.
but yeah, and they use the word attract, but I.
They
couldn't
try,
even
but they
do that.
want you
Yeah,
really,
but
really.
they
to
want me,
recruit.
they would ask me, oh my God.
They're just
are
like
you ever
EXP.
gonna-" Yes,
Do you have Aaron Baxter's?
yeah,
number?
so yeah, I just couldn't deal with the,
Can
you
share
know,
that
that,
text
I got
line?
called every week
Not
about.
calling back.
Having to do emergencies, like,
Well, the EXP guy that was calling us, I finally. I,
This one.
the camera's right here, Pam.
Oh,
You.
oh, stop it. Would you stop it?
It's on the computer.
Greg, I need your help. Your friend's giving me a bad time.
Well, kick him out the house,
Huh?
kick him out the White House,
Oh, I can't do that. I don't have that authority.
make him go sit on the front porch.
You know who made me this way, right?
Greg, oh, I know.
There it is. It.
He is ornery because you made him that way.
Ah, I'm speechless with, right there, yeah,
Okay.
I can't deny that.
Okay.
Ownership.
The EXP guy was kept coming back. So he came back and wanted to present. So Jackie, I told him no. And he's mad. Like, he was pissed. And I thought, that's not a good way, buddy. You know, when you don't get your way, you should have a little bit of class, but he showed his colors.
Yeah,
They're very, very.
all the real people have been, I think, that supported it.
Yeah, I think Real is a little bit nice. Jackie and I talked to Real. They're a little
You
bit
too, yeah. Herrera, Joe.
easier than
Joe's
EXP. EXP is,
No, they're brutal.
There were more, the real was more factual and like telling you like. What questions to ask to look for what's best for you. And so they were guiding us in the sense of asking and looking more for the long run and if is it good for you, is a win-win, not like right away, like, come so that way I get your money. Come so I can get your.
Yeah, I need to put my numbers in. Yeah.
that's all they care about.
Was he agreeing on the referral? type thing?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is it
like,
paid?
it's almost like a pyramid.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's like a pyramid.
And
And when
you
they,
get stopped.
when they first started talking to me, it was interesting, but they didn't tell the whole story. They told, who's on this call? Okay, they told, I'm not gonna be sure, you never know, because we sent it out to all kinds of people, but we, like, you have to have 5 people under you to
Unlock the people.
unlock the people under them. So they make it sound like, oh, there's 1 and you get 5 and they get, and
All
you
these
get all
tiers.
these people, but you don't get the tiers until, so like, it would have benefited me because all of you guys would be under me. I would have had all of you. But nobody would, but like you wouldn't benefit unless you had 5 people. And I just was just like, this doesn't work for my people. It does not work. And they would not hear it, absolutely kept coming back with more ideas, more things, more of this. Oh, we'll do this for a year. Yeah, and for a year, and then what happens to more people? Like, it's not gonna work. And it was such a great thing. Why isn't everybody already on
Yeah.
board with the XP? Where are they all? Why are you having such a problem recruiting?
Well, the money's always good for the people on the top.
That's-
And by the time it materializes, the people on the bottom are left out.
Sorry, Greg, we couldn't really hear you. Can you repeat that?
What happened?
Can you repeat? We couldn't really hear you.
Hey, you're gonna have to talk slow for me.
Can you repeat? We could not hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, the pyramid, anything that's involved with that type of structure is good for the people on the top.
That's
but
right.
Ultimately, the people on the bottom are left out.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah, when I started with real, I think there's 1700 people, now there's 15,000. Recently.
Yeah, but
Oh, is that how much you're giving me?
yeah, 472,000.
Finally meet you. Thanks.
Famous funny cows. Well,
Ah, Handsome showed up.
That's by you.
That's.
ah,
Something's happening. Not that one. I don't know why that's sitting.
I don't know who that, it's not a beer, it's iced tea, but I think it's an Arnold Palmer action. Oh, it's for me. It's not yours.
It's been there for like 23 minutes. Give me that ice.
It's turned into a liquid water.
Well, I'm excited for this one.
you are
Yeah.
good.
Oh my gosh, look at Greg up there.
Yeah,
Because
he's quite serious.
he's got his earphones on, he doesn't want to miss a word.
He's like quality control or something. He's like in the control tower. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just waiting for the Pittsburgh Steelers to kick off.
yeah.
Traffic.
Hopefully they said it's 3 days, but. Fortunately,
We'll give him like 5 more minutes and then I'll start people over. How many do I, oh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
it's not.
No, and I have Maria and Greg, the 3 downtown.
Oh, okay. That's like funny, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's a little program.
Always on the list. It's up there. Remind.
No, it's been pretty slow. Like when my class, I was looking at computers with.
Yeah.
Came back to yesterday.
Progress.
I don't know, maybe,
Sell it.
even in his holes, man. It's-
Here.
Okay.
Already have the moving man coming. We need motivation.
It's one of those things that stops, and like, no, think so. He's like, no, we're moving.
This is where we have now started to do, yeah.
Hi, Sarah. My name.
Yeah.
So everyone, Michael, he's coming work.
And Michael.
Very easy.
Works with Century 21.
And Michael.
I'm Jackie.
Jack one.
I'm
Jack.
looking for Sarah.
I'm Connie Kautz. Speaker
Hey,
DJ.
what percentage do you want to say?
Yeah, because we invite everybody to all our classes, so.
Okay.
In Visalia, where in Tulare? In Porterville, I forget. Okay.
We'll hold it against them, right?
Well, that's.
How long you been
That's also
existing?
means to you first.
2 years. November.
Nice, great, good for you.
Ronnie's on.
Oh, Ronnie's on, where's Anthony? 'Cause
Well, I think they're together.
ask Ronnie, is Anthony with you?
No, he's running around at Lowe's and stuff.
Okay, well, he had me send him the link.
Doesn't surprise me.
They make it sound good, though.
Yeah, he made it sound really good.
So you still can't bring the baby, huh? Yeah.
No, you can't bring him out, they're week old, shouldn't.
Even after COVID, they still are concerned.
I mean, my kids always did with,
Yeah.
even before COVID with my grandbabies, they didn't take them out until
Really?
they had had their first set of vaccinations. their first shots.
Yeah, she's only 7 days, so we're gonna wait on that.
That's plenty of time. She should have been already.
She's grown, she has a job.
You're always out in the dirt, that's why you're gonna get. Oh.
Your baby was in the hospital. There, she's already been exposed.
We're so helpful.
Yeah, it's just really encouraging. I know, it's really encouraging
Yeah.
and settle down a new mommy.
Yeah, Chris, I really miss you.
You know, she doesn't want to strangle me. I'm not doing my job.
Hey, you guys saw the first house we lived in when my oldest was born, it was 2 months premature. You're like, oh my gosh, right? And then you survived it.
Oh my God, Gunnar was coming, but apparently Finn got into his sink. There was glasses in the sink and he's lifting them out with his mouth and dropping them.
Well, assuming everything's okay, guys, once I hit the back phone and then we.
Yeah,
So I got it. I'll be dialed in.
yeah.
She might be looking for the link.
Who's that?
Just saying.
So I'm sure we certainly think about you guys get to.
Yeah, we will. When the weather cools down, let's do it. Let's just get in there and do it.
It's growing and growing.
I know.
Oh, you don't want to put in the drip system?
No,
I'll have to get out there and do it himself.
he wants to do it right now and it's 115. Say, mommy.
Uh-huh.
You got to go through certain functions. And extension you deserve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we did my mom's, so when my mom got injured, we, as a family, we got divided up areas. My brother, of course, said, get smart, I'm gonna get the backyard, that's the biggest patch. So instead of doing his part, he hired someone else and then went and did the drip system. So my mom got a drip system out of it. But since then, it's grown, she keeps adding more plants, so we need to grow it.
Well, it's not 100.
Of course not.
Okay, should we start?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good morning, everybody. Can you guys see me online? Oh, yes. Oh, there's a bunch of them now. Okay,
I don't need a grand entrance.
this is Connie Kautz.
Hello, hello.
Connie is our luxury agent. She's the head of our luxury division. She has the designation of, let me see if I got this right, certified, you just. Oh, certified. You messed me up, Jeff.
It's not an easy one.
Certified luxury home marketing specialist.
Yes.
And that is not just a title that she's taken. That was a certification, a designation that was earned. So Connie's going to talk to us today about luxury listings as well as restyling for
Yes.
top dollar. So I'll turn it over to Connie.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Connie.
Welcome, everybody. Real quick note on myself. I have been in the industry for over 30 years and I've had the opportunity to work with obviously all kinds of buyers and sellers. But today I really want to focus on, it'll be kind of hard for me because I have such a huge passion for staging and marketing and preparing a home for the market. But I'm going to speak to you as a listing agent going into a listing to get that listing. So it's not really a listing presentation. It's more of a presentation on how to make your marketing and you look a little bit different than the other listing agents. If you're competing, you may have a referral that you're not even competing for, and we're going to get more into that. So I want to talk about the difference between staging and restyling. I want to talk about the buyer's eyes when they walk into a property, and then we're going to get into the pricing and what it costs and doesn't cost to stage a property. So the first thing is staging and restyling. Has anybody had a home staged, work with a stager? Nice, good experience?
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Very good experience. So mostly staging, when we talk about staging is normally for a vacant home. We stage a lot of vacant homes because they need that personality, or we stage a home because it doesn't make sense when you walk in. You're trying to figure out what is that room, because people will have a dining room turned into a playpen for their kids, or they'll have a, what is it? A pool table in the dining room, and we need to make sure when the buyer walks in that they can identify the properties, and we'll get more into that. So staging is completely different than restyle. I want to focus more on restyle today because the restyle is your eyes when you walk in as a buyer. So you're the listing agent, but now you're walking into the property and you're the buyer. So when you walk in, you have to have that mindset depending on your relationship with your seller. So as you walk in, we have this term in the staging business. I'm a certified stager as well, but I haven't staged in over a year, which is a lot of separation anxiety for me because I love it. My children are terrified for me to come over because I want to change things when I babysit. I babysit on date night, so I can just come over and move stuff around, but they don't let me anymore. Yeah, I get that a lot is, will you come to my house? So anyway, so the important part about when you walk into a listing presentation, you do want to you need to walk in with confidence and see that house from a buyer's eyes. So if you walk into the kitchen, and the biggest term I like to use, but you have to be careful unless you're trained to talk to sellers, because they can be completely closed off to staging and you could lose the listing. So there's a reason that there's professional stagers, and because that is good for you not to try to be that person. So you can say, I'm going to bring a stager in if you're open to that, just like you're going to bring a home inspector in or a termite inspector, because they are there for a purpose. So let's say you walk in and it's pretty cluttered. You have every appliance on the kitchen counter. So that in staging, we use the term clutter eats equity. That's a fun thing to kind of throw out when you're meeting with a seller, because it's kind of funny, although they can be offended because maybe they like 35 air fryers, every different size that you could possibly have, or crock pots. And then my favorite is all the stuff on top of the refrigerator, the bread that obviously should have been gone a couple of weeks ago. So there's that eye focus that you have to be careful with. And the other room, if you walk into a room and it just says to you, what am I doing? There's 5 couches, and people love those couches that flip back, make tables, that you can have an audience. So we have to be careful and sensitive when we talk about restyling, because people love the way they live. It's their home. So one of the most important things too are the buyer's eyes, and you've done your walkthrough with your seller, and you have to look at the outside and the entry. The entry is your first focus, because if it's cluttered, it's automatically going to, again, we use the word hurt my eyes when I walk in. And when I had my whole team with me in the staging, they were like, oh, we need to go in first because Connie's not. No, the colors, and there's a lot of clutter. It's just, I have to be on. I'm very transparent, and I walk in and I'm like, we really need to make some changes after we have the initial walkthrough. So once you've walked through and you've noticed all these thoughts and you're getting ready to sit down with your buyer, I always like to ask if I'm interviewing, if I don't know if I'm interviewing, or if this is a listing I'm going to get. So if you're interviewing, I always ask if I can tell that there's staging that needs to be done. Have you talked to any other agents, and have they mentioned staging? That'll give you the clue immediately that if they say yes and they're fired, so you're not going to go down the staging road. We just had this conversation.
We know this.
Yeah, we know this. So staging has to be really, you have to really walk on a tightrope if you're trying to get the listing, which is the most important thing. So when you're able to have that conversation, and a house is price, condition, location. We can't change a location. We can change price and condition. So the condition, I try to explain to people, if we've gone down the road and they say, you're not touching our house, I don't want to have it staged, here's a good thing to say. And again, this you can do with practice, and it does help them. So down the road, let's say we're 30 days in, we haven't had any showings, but maybe 2 showings. The house is sitting there, there's no activity, and the seller says, why aren't you doing your job? What are you doing? Do open houses help? No. Massive marketing? No. If the house doesn't show well online, it's not going to show well in person. So they'll say, let's talk about a price reduction. And before I do that, the normal price reduction, and it is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, for example, depending on the market. Cost of staging is anywhere from $15,000 to $3,000. So if you can get that seller in the beginning or after you're in for a while, if you could save that as here's an opportunity for us to look at the staging again, because it will make a huge difference. I don't have any before and afters or any of that because you guys have seen all those and it makes a huge difference.
Question,
Yes,
when you're talking about 1,500 to 3,000, is that restyling or is that staging?
that could be either or.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the seller has pretty good furniture and they're getting ready to move anyway, and you need to know the motivation. If it looks like a really emotional sale, maybe there was a death in the family, you're just gonna back off. You're gonna get that house on the market, you're gonna price it right, but you need to know their motivation, how soon they need to get out of the house, where are they going, and what are those details? You need to go deep with that, just so you're not going to offend them. And because I have said you need to take all your shit and leave. I have, because in a nice way. And I have these dots that I use, they're yellow, green, and red. And red means it's stop, it's gonna, it's stop, mean it has to go. Green means, whoops, I got it backwards. Yellow means maybe I'll use it in a restyle. If it's green, it means it's gotta go. And if it's red, it stays. I have put green dots on children and pets. Because
So the green dot means go.
go, get it out. Yeah,
Okay,
kids
good.
are not happy. Kids aren't happy, the pets aren't happy. But when you have dog bowls on the countertop, not a good idea. And I love pets. We have a great photo of me with a pet on my lap,
Right,
not even my pet.
right.
So that just helps them to start getting that motivation of moving. So when I say, so we're gonna move anyway, I'm gonna leave you these dots. Sometimes this is very successful, sometimes it's not. I said, I'll come back in a week. You let me know how it's going. Get a pod, let's get all these things out of here. So now we're talking a stage restyle, because it can be a combination of both. So then I get there, the kids can pick 10 toys. That's all they have. Because kids these days, it's ridiculous what they have.
200.
200 toys. So the kids, I'm never very popular. The pets usually hide from me when I get there, and the children are terrified. But I have a job to do. I have to get this house sold. So we let the
Is there
kids
music
pick.
playing in the background if you're walking through this house?
Yes, I usually have a fan on me. So it really, but we have a job to do. And just like the termite guy, they don't want to hear that they have to tent the house, but it's the facts. And if you want to represent your seller and get more listings, and if they're not open to staging, that's okay. But you need to let them know you might revisit it down the road. So let's go back. So now I've come back to the house. They've gotten rid of stuff. And now I'm going to do a restyle. A restyle looks simple, and you can always hire a professional. I don't know, has anybody tried to stage a house by themselves? I think you recently did. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work.
Yeah, when I owned a staging business for, I don't know, about 25 years. And my husband would always leave town when he knew I had to stage something, because, he has a truck and a trailer, which is dangerous. And it's the most rewarding thing I do. I absolutely love it, but it's a lot of work, because you've got to stage that house inside your warehouse. You've got to pull all the pillows, you have to pull the bedding, the plants, the artwork, get it in a truck, unload it. Okay, then it becomes de-staging day. It's the same thing. So it's a lot of work. It's like moving your whole life. So I'm back at the house, and everybody is a little, they're a little tedious because it's an occupied staging. Vacant staging, pretty simple, but now we're in an occupied staging where Dina Clark. Sorry. So when you're in an occupied staging, now you have, I don't want to get off because I'm not teaching you to stage a property, but I'm teaching you to explain the expectations of a restyle or stager. So we'll do simple things like, we're just going to freshen up your bedding. I'm not going to say anything. Sometimes what I do is I just go on Amazon and I say, okay, what does this feel good for you? Because we need a lot of white in here. We just need white. Mostly everything the stagers do is white. And they pay for it. And it's theirs and they get to keep it.
Why is it white?
Well, because it shows the best. Now, if there's pets involved, because I always tell them, please keep them off of the rugs and off of the linens, but they don't. So they own those at the end of the transaction. And then white, they can bring in colored later. If the bedroom's really, really boring, then we'll do some colored pillows. But I will, if I'm doing a resale like that, I just have it shipped for them, they pay it. Back in the day, it would be 15% over what the price was. And then I can help them stage it. White towels, glass with flowers, artwork. I mean, if a room doesn't make sense, to you, it's not going to make sense to a buyer, and it's going to show horrible on the internet. So those key things are important for a seller to know, that it's your job to market that home. And a home that's marketed with not having any meaning to it is a home that's hard to sell. And it's going to create more phone calls to you, because you can create the price and you can take them back to the price if they want to lower the price and say, let's stage it first. And then you take it back. The location we can't change. There's three things a house, buy a house, sells, price, location, condition. So condition, yeah, that right. But you just have to be able to take that seller there depending on their emotional state. And if they're ready to depart from the house, some people aren't. Some people are not ready to leave. Divorce situations, don't even go there.
How do you address if it's dirty?
Yeah, so dirty, I
Because
won't.
that's even
Yeah,
harder.
I won't stage a dirty house, and I tell them that. I said, you will have to, the windows have to be cleaned, and sometimes we would get there and the house was filthy, and I just pack my stuff up and leave, and then I have a cancellation penalty in my contract when I stage.
But you
And
know
stagers
that
do that.
before you list it,
Yeah.
right? If you go into a listing and it's dirty, you just,
So I'll be back in 10 days. This is your checklist. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
you
Because
give
we
a
can't,
checklist.
oh, yeah, and we will polish things or wipe glass down or, do a little bit of stuff, but we are not housekeepers, and that's not our job. Same with the outdoors. The outdoors has to be cleaned. Since COVID, people utilize office and outdoors. So we always would do an office space if possible. If we had a 3-bedroom house, we would usually do an office space, and an office does not belong in a bedroom. Never. Okay. Either does a treadmill. Who has a treadmill in a bedroom? No, I'm just kidding. But those things are, you have to, it's our job to what? What'd you say? I'll come by and talk to him. It's our job to show space and storage. If people see clutter and they think, oh, this house doesn't have enough storage. And that's critical. It's our job to do our very best to get the highest and best price. And our sellers, if they don't want to listen, they'll listen later, or they'll listen to the second agent who's going to get that listing. Because it's better to be honest with them and just say, I guess this is not the best fit for me, because we need to lower the price, or we need to stage the property. We need to do these things to get it on the market. My photos do not reflect the beautiful house this could be. Houses talk to people, and they talk to people when they walk in, and that buyer, how many times has buyer walked in and went, this is it. This is it. I love it. And it's usually nice, I'm guessing, unless it's investment property, they don't care what's going on because they want a deal. But if it's your home, you're going to live in, you're going to take your family, they're going to walk into a home ready to be on the market and clean and styled and make sense. And everybody's a happier client. But it's a tough conversation to have, and you have to be careful with it.
Now, I'm curious, you kind of mentioned coming out multiple times, do you integrate your styling into your realtor role from the get-go, or do you try to separate those two a little bit?
I am the worst case scenario because I am a stager and a realtor. Two hard things to communicate, although I have built my career on it, because I am able to have that conversation with them and let them know that this is the best thing for us to do. A lot of agents can't do it. It's a hard thing to do, but they know I'm going to roll up with the van. Not anymore. I retired from staging as of right now, but they know I'm going to roll up with the van and I'm going to change their lives. And they're going to walk in and go, oh my God, I love this home, because I can look at a home and completely change it in my mind. It's almost annoying because I can't relax in anyone's home, restaurant, anywhere. And it does change, and they always, that house will sell so fast. So I do a dual role, but I now have stagers I use.
This reminds me of this should be a reality show, because Long Island.
I'll take that as a
You know how
compliment.
Long Island Medium, everywhere
Yeah.
she goes, she's like, oh, sorry, excuse me.
Oh, it's okay, yeah.
Do you have a problem? You think you're gonna be Connie Kautz, she's gonna go into places like, excuse me, is the
Is
manager here?"
Was that Why is it there?
I have my consider I'm channeling something right now and it's that couch not being there.
Yeah. Okay,
So for our agents.
Yeah.
A regular agent,
Yes.
like I will go in and give advice. I will say you need to, declutter, you need to
Right,
clean,
the
you need to get
declutter
this
work.
deep clean,
Mhm.
whatever. But restyling,
Yeah.
that's not really my thing. So how far does just a
So-
regular non-designer agent go with it?
You call a stager. Stagers run anywhere from $200 to $250 for a consultation, well worth the money. You can negotiate that with your seller, say, look, I'll pay half. I'll pay half, but I'd love for you to take the opportunity to do this consultation. They're brilliant and they're able to remove you from that listing agent, just like the termite guy, just like the roof guy that says you need a new roofer. Always just call. I have 3 that you can call that I love. I love doing that, but I can't speak for the other stagers. We all have a different eye, but yet plan on referring and paying that or sharing that cost with your seller. It's like $200 to $250. It'll change your world when it comes to listings. And then they start bragging about you, because normally, and I don't think you have these signs, when I was staging my own houses, I had a big sign out front, staging in progress, look for the details, because what that creates for the seller is that anticipation. And then all the neighbors get excited and they're like, oh, Connie Kautz is staging a house over in Beverly Glen. Oh my God, I can't wait. And then I didn't do it because I'm not really good at all that, but we're gonna learn. Then we would do like, little quick before and afters, bedding. I'm like the bedding magic girl. I love to make a bed. That's a weird thing too, because in the hotels they go, who's in 225? Because that room has been completely changed. The furniture's not the beds. So that creates a lot of excitement. And if you can get your seller to get involved in that anticipation and the signage out front, it just gives you more credibility. And they see window washers, showing up in power washers. My houses, when they hit the market, people know they're going to be amazing. They're going to be top notch. Reports are done. Roofers, everything. There's a book with all of the reports that are done. It's staged beautifully. It's clean. The children, the pets are gone. Nobody knows where they are.
What if they don't want to stage?
Well, I sometimes don't take the listing. I don't. I have a reputation that, and not that I'm luxury. I feel like I do cottages to castles, but I can't put my name on something that doesn't show well. That's just who I am. And that's who I built my reputation with. And I don't care if it's a $250,000 little home on Harvard and Lindsay. Everything can use a little bit of touch,
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've done 2 million. No, everything can use it. And it really makes people happy, especially if they can leave with the stuff. That's a program that I started building and then I got too busy to finish it. That's when I would say, okay, Amazon's going to deliver this and I'm going to help you put it on your bed. And then here's your other list of things for the budget minded people. And then sometimes the market tells us, like during COVID, staging wasn't anything. We know what that market was about. Well, number one, people didn't want them in their house. I don't think we could for a while, but anyway, they didn't, houses sold so fast, we didn't need to stage. My inventory set. A lot of stagers did. And then it's changing, but this market's weird. We had like 146 listings in Vice when I checked yesterday. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Some of them are really sitting. Sellers are still upside. They just think, they don't understand, why don't I have multiple offers? Well, it doesn't show well, number one, or, it's too high. So there's only 3 reasons. Location you can't change. So every little house, everything, like I said, from a cottage to a castle can use just a bit of a tweak. Not all homes. Some homes don't need to be staged. You walk in, you go, holy smokes, this one will be easy.
What if they are still living in your Connie? We have sellers that can't move until their house sells and they.
That is a big issue.
Day-to-day living for people, especially with little ones.
It's hard.
Hard.
It is very hard. And that's why it's a tough act it's a tough thing to do every day. That's why it needs to be, I tell them, then that's what we're going to stage it beautifully. And we're going to have you sold in 48 hours or, in less than a week. So you can just, by staging it, it's easy for somebody to walk in. There's no toys, there's no chaos. The beds are beautiful. I'm still having nightmares over that bed we saw.
Yeah.
it makes a difference if they put all the effort up front, price, condition, location, we'll get it sold fast, everybody's happy, and they are gonna talk about how awesome you
I
are.
think that's a good sales statement too, to
Yes,
say, you know.
get it right up front.
Let's do this and let's get
Mhm.
this sold quickly because let's get it sold in 48 hours. Let's get it sold in 72 hours. Let's get this thing moving. So you don't have people coming.
Yeah.
Because it is hard with kids to keep it clean. I know that I've told people get the wipes because people always really focus on bathrooms and kitchens.
Yes.
Bathrooms especially are
Mhm.
disgusting with kids, like keep the wipes under the sink, wipe the sink, get the glass ones for the mirror before you leave for the day. Like at
Yeah.
least have a little routine that you can have with kids because it's tough.
And that's a very good point. So people always go, my gosh, Connie, you must spend a fortune. Well, sometimes I do, except it's cheaper than spending a fortune on marketing and having my client call me every 20 minutes. Do we have any showings today? Oh, I don't know. Let me get my crystal ball, see if anybody, yeah. So I would take, especially for a busy family, it's a really good point, Sarah. I have just, I would get plastic clear containers. And I would say everything on that bathrooms are a nightmare, everything on that bathroom and in the shower. Put it in this big plastic box, put it underneath for showings, and then you can bring it back out. And
That's
then
a
put
great
it back.
idea.
So then they know that you're engaged and that you really want to get this done for them. If they don't have storage stuff, buy those big bags or that, help them do that. Boxes, you can usually get boxes. And I help to get, I'm gonna say, boxes will create that. I'll just deliver some boxes with the paper, said, you know what, let's start working on that pantry, depending, I know. I know, okay, that is terrifying. Let's start working, oh, that's, yeah. But it's, if they know that you're really engaged, because they have 3 children and a newborn, and they have to be to their new job in 45 days, and they know you're really, really on their team, they're gonna get it done.
What about doing boxes and putting them in the garage?
That, I'd love to do that, and
Let them put them in, I mean, they don't
Absolutely,
know where to
just-
take it, it's better to get it out of the house.
put it in the garage. That freaks people out. And I said, you know what? Nobody cares because they don't want to see those 35 air fryers on your countertop
And if they,
and leftover waffles.
and if they fight you on doing restyling,
Mhm.
can we at least, what do you think about at least doing the door ourselves, the front door? Like getting them to clean it off, getting things
Yeah.
out of the way, what if we
First
put a
impression.
wreath or something on that front door, if nothing else, I mean, I have told clients at least paint your front door.
Yeah.
Or do that Watco stuff to
Right.
get it oiled. I mean, what are your
Front doors,
thoughts on
yeah,
that?
front doors are critical. That, that first impression, the drive-by. I am notorious for sending my landscapers over. I just send them over and say, do whatever it takes. A lot of times I'll pre-fund this. And again, it doesn't matter the style of the house. We have $2 million homes that look like crap. Where we have a little cottage that just maybe needs, the bushes cleared away from the windows so they can open up. I usually have landscaping, because again, that's that drive-by. And it's that photos that are so important. And new mat, always a brand new mat. The door, yeah, I either have them clean it really good or we'll figure out something. And clear, people want to put plants, plants everywhere. But I don't like real plants. Sorry, don't die. But they get, unless you are a plant person, real plants in a house can look sad.
Yeah.
And they can, it's like the cats and the plants. And the cats, the kids, the plants. But that a plant can either make a room or just suck the life out of you. So that's like a pet peeve that I have. I used a lot of fake plants.
How do you address smell?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah, I say, so, I just say, how many pets do you have? Not, do you have pets? Because it's obvious. And they'll say, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, here's the deal. So the pet smell right off the bat is going to cost you 10 grand. Because it's usually the carpet has to be replaced. Yeah. So I said, what's the best way besides getting rid of the pets? What's the best way to deal with this? You can't have it cleaned. It just makes it worse.
Makes it
Yeah,
worse.
so we have to, that's one of those, we have to hide the obvious and make it so fabulously staged But they just figure I can get over that. I'm just gonna need new carpet and you just have to tell that seller you'll do a carpet allowance. And you know, the concrete's gonna have to be sealed. It just depends on how bad.
Do you address it though?
Oh,
Connie? Do you
yes.
say, I
And I'll just-
in here.
Oh,
or it
I-
smells
yeah.
like dog?
And what do they say? No, it doesn't.
Cause they get used to
Yeah.
it. They get used to it.
So yeah, they have a blind nose. But that is bad because that's so expensive. And they're gonna have to be prepared right up front. I do all of my inspections up front, home inspections, everything, especially on an older house. And then there's, the negotiations are easy. Oh, yeah, the front porch is falling off. Well, that was obvious. So here it's fixed or here's the bid. It just simplifies the whole process. But if it looks sharp, and you can kind of ignore the things that they've lived with every day that they don't even see, and not ignore it, but fix the things that they live with every day they don't even see. It's just, you can't have clutter. And you have to have it clean, and the house has to make sense. The bottom line is you need to walk in a room and it needs to say, hey, I'm the dining room.
Now, are you familiar with any of the statistics, like staged home gets X amount of dollars
Yes.
more? Okay.
So CAR and NAR both did reports. 68% of the homes sold for above or at 68% of NAR in 2023, the first quarter.
Of staged homes.
Staged homes. 68%.
So for at full price or above.
Yes, 68%. And those are also really important things to throw out. I use a lot of facts. My opinion doesn't really matter. I try to use a lot of facts. And I'll say, you know, the last house I listed sold for blah, 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 you know, use your own statistics as well as NAR, CAR, or even our local doesn't do that. But using those numbers is huge, is absolutely huge. And when a buyer is looking at a house online, they're already deciding to buy that house if it fits. So when they walk in, that experience needs to be that much of a connection as well. You need to keep that enthusiasm, like, oh my gosh, the way that the bedrooms are set are perfect for us. Oh my gosh, look at the counter space in the kitchen. Love that laundry room. You know, they have to show all that, and the pictures have to show it.
I think it helps with appraisers too,
Oh, it
because we sell
definitely does.
houses to appraisers.
Yeah.
They have to fall in love with that house. But I mean, it's easier when they fall in love with it as well.
You know, that is so true.
They like
That is
houses
so
that
true.
smell nice.
You've actually asked a couple, even on the podcast where we had George Prince even admitted. Yeah.
Oh, a nice
the
house.
house, if I walk in and I'm allowed by it, yeah, it's gonna influence my adjustments.
So it's across the board.
No, it is. Staging is so important. You don't sell a house without a home inspection. None of us do, right? Unless they're never gonna waive off of, staging. No, I decline that. Well, maybe they would, I don't know. But I just had a house that I sold on Linda Vista, 90 years old. Now, I didn't even mention staging. I wanted to so bad, but there's some people, there's no way you could stage a home when someone's lived there at that age. No, it wouldn't be good. And it sold fast, but it was because it just had that feel that grandma's lived here and it's just a happy place. But staging isn't for everybody, and we have to understand that. Do I walk out of houses and not take the listing? Absolutely, I do, because of my reputation. And usually I'm the second agent that'll list it and sell it. Yeah, I would rather be that second agent.
Okay, so how much of this do we do as agents, and how much of it do we count off to?
This works out.
That is a very good question. Depends on your relationship with your seller. Is it a referral, or is it the first time you've ever met him? Are you interviewing for the job? Always ask him if you're interviewing, and if it needs to be staged, you can just say, that'll give you that. Has anybody mentioned staging to you? It's something I offer as well. And if you get that, oh, hell no, and don't even say that again, you're gonna pass right over that, and that'll be your choice. Or I take it one other's time, so would you be interested in meeting with a professional stager? They're a lot like the home inspector, try to go into that conversation. Because it's not personal. Their house is now a commodity. It's a commodity. We need to sell that house and have it show in the best light that it can show. Open windows, clean windows. It's not that hard. It's not that expensive. Believe me, the sellers get very pushed back, and we don't want anybody to say anything about their home until it doesn't sell, and they don't understand why. And then it's your fault because it hasn't And so you can go back and say, we talked about marketing, we talked about staging, can we revisit those?
Does now, you said that 68% of homes that were staged sold at or above. Is there any more detailed statistics? Like, could I tell somebody, hey, this looks nice, if you're open to staging, and like when I'm talking to them about that, is there like any numbers that I could say from the standpoint of staging is probably gonna get you $10,000 to $15,000 more for your house? Like, is
No.
it something like that?
No, in my contract, it states, just because I've staged your home does not mean you're gonna get over asking price or even at, it's just gonna enhance what you currently have. So there really isn't anything like that, because it would be hard to state that, except that 68% of the homes that were staged have that percentage of selling because they're presented correctly. I would never say, I'm gonna stage your house, it's gonna cost you $3,000 and you're gonna get, some of the stagers say that, you're gonna get 20,000 more.
It depends where they're pricing it.
It's the pricing, it's the location, it's so many things, and I never want to put, especially being a listing agent, a stager can say that and walk away and say, hey, thanks for the check, I'm out. But as a realtor, I have to be super careful, because if I say, they said, well, Connie said, we're gonna get 20 grand more, but we staged for 3. Well, we didn't, bad Connie.
So it's probably better to like say, using, for using this, a stager and having your home restyled or staged, it increases the odds of more offers or more aggressive buyers that are that's gonna
Absolutely.
leverage in
Mhm.
negotiating on your behalf, which is gonna equate to.
Yeah.
who knows
Just
how much.
like good verbiage, good pictures, signs,
Absolutely.
nice staging, it's all part of that package, I think.
You gotta,
And you know what else I was thinking of when we were sitting here talking about is when you trade in your car and it goes to the dealership, they don't just slap it out on the showroom, they detail it before you do it. Why wouldn't we do the same thing with houses?
absolutely. So let's think of model homes.
Oh, yeah.
So model homes, those buyers walk in that house, they are in love. It's got all that pretty furniture, all that fluffy stuff, all that stuff. And then they get in their house and are like, what happened?
It's all white walls.
I don't understand. Yeah. So you have to convince your seller, we're not selling their home. It's a commodity and it's a lifestyle. We have to stage or restyle for the masses, not your particular style of artwork, not your chaotic life. I mean, they have to buy in. They have to buy in. Right, yeah. No, oh my gosh, and the red walls, and I think I've gone way over, I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, so I just think that the conversation, if you can really engage them and ask those deep questions, they're gonna buy in and utilize your stager as a home inspector, as a sandwiching, a pest control, roof insert, is just part of the process. So I'm hoping you'll take the opportunity to meet with the stager. I think she'll really make a difference. And then it just have it, be their idea. The way you live in a home and live in a home and stage a home are two different things. Or sell a home. The
Just
way you
like-
live in a home and sell a home are two different things. I see it every day.
Just like the way we price a home, when you
Yes.
talk to a seller,
Yeah.
I recommend where I think it could be.
Mhm.
When they want to come up here, I remind them, that's when you do a net sheet and have them sign it. At this price is where I think you're gonna sell. And
Yeah.
sign it, right? You go back to it, just like the staging. If they choose not to do it.
We talked about that
That we
6
talked
weeks
about
ago.
staging 6 weeks ago,
Yeah.
just like we talked about, this is where I thought your price should be. We tried it your way, now maybe we should try it my way. I mean, obviously, aren't gonna say it like that.
No, but that is the point. We're not trying to take you backwards. We're trying to move forward. So
Do
you
you-
tried this. So let's revisit the staging.
Do you have a sheet, Connie, with like marketing strategy? Because when I compete for listings, I have a marketing plan for sellers. And I'll go through, and it's just very obvious things, professional signage, professional
Yeah.
pictures, this, that, and this. Do you go through that? And one of those could be restyling
Yeah.
staging. So it's on there in front of them. Now,
So you know
whether
to
they
talk about
opt to do that, but they have to understand that's their expense.
Yes.
That's not ours,
Well,
right? It's,
And no, there's a lot of different marketing plans for pricing. Depending on the price of the house, sometimes I would absorb some of the cost, but
okay.
I owned all my all my stuff.
Right.
So to me, the margin was, I would charge them mostly for the labor. It's a funny story. I have to tell you this about a house you sold of mine. And it helped take the edge off. But we're not supposed to talk about commissions, but you can imagine what I did. It was not discounted. So I would absorb it in another direction.
Right.
So they felt like, wow, Connie didn't charge me for the rental of the furniture and stuff, because it can be very expensive. But it also, I paid a full commission, whatever the full commission looks like.
And
for
so
you.
when you're doing that, Connie, do you make sure that it's priced properly? Because you
Oh,
don't want
because-
to, you don't want to pay
Yeah.
upfront for things
No.
and then it doesn't sell. And even though you've absorbed it in that 6%,
The
you
margin.
get zero.
The
And
margin
you're
gets,
out.
the margin gets really rough. So our goal was always, we staged free for the first 60 days. So what that allowed me to do with my seller is say, okay, it's free for the first 60 days. So let's get it sold the first 60 days. If we have a 45-day escrow, we're going to just be perfect. That's going to allow for timing to stage and destage, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
They got really focused on that because they didn't want to write me a rental check for $1,500 or
Is
whatever.
that about how much it
No.
costs a month to
It's
stage?
anywhere from, for the rentals, after I stage it, then starting day 61, it would be, depending on how many rooms I stage, it could be anywhere from 300 a month. If it was a bigger home, it could be $2,000 a month, which is total profit for me because I own all the furniture. The only thing I could take out of that as a margin would be the rental company or the moving vans.
So how does that look if we don't own them and we have to
Yeah.
hire, like about how much is it gonna cost?
Yeah.
If they have to completely
Let's say
stage
we
a home,
did a completely stage of
like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet, what are we
probably
looking at?
550 to 750
A month?
after the 60 days.
And is there a setup fee or no?
No,
That it's just a monthly?
yeah.
That's what you had said that.
No, I'm saying now I'm talking as one of my stagers. So I came in, I staged your house, it was $2,500 for the first 60 days. That covered all my expenses. Now, if that doesn't sell, that seller owes the 550 to 7, whatever it costs.
I'm saying that's what the way
Oh.
you had your.
But if it's
company set up,
if it's a
it's
different state,
No, so on that was my company and that's everybody. That's how everybody does it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
they do this first 60 days.
Yes.
That's what I was.
Yeah, so it's $2,500 for the first 60 days. And then they charge the rental fee.
Okay, okay, I got, because I was like,
Now we can say.
okay, so there is a fee
There,
and then there's a
Yeah.
monthly fee on top of it.
so when they do that fee, they're charging per bedroom. They're charging for what it's gonna cost for their, now, costs have gone up since I was staging. It used to cost me like $50 an hour for movers. And then you have to, that's picking up and dropping off. So I could have $300 to $400 just in moving furniture back and forth, and then our time and labor. So the margin can be super good, just like in real estate, or it can be a little narrow, depending on what you're doing. And a lot of stagers in the very beginning staged every room. I never staged every room. I only staged the rooms that made sense that they needed attention. What, are you laughing when somebody did something funny?
I just won't do it.
No, I was gonna ask a question.
Okay,
I was raising my hand.
I thought you were dancing.
yeah,
That's why I made you
yeah,
buying it.
yes, question.
So can this fee be taken out of escrow or is that money up front?
Very good question. I always get paid before I leave that house. Nothing, other stagers may do it in escrow, but very few do because it's very dangerous.
Say outside.
I don't pay, I get paid up front.
So it was a contract you said it specifically separate from anything else.
Absolutely. Separate contract, separate business. Style Show Sold is my staging company. Style Show Sold, and they wrote that check to Style Show Sold, not to Connie Kautz.
As far as I understand. Hey,
Yes,
we're gonna
it's
do this,
different. No, and I've
Okay.
hired people and yeah. And no, they write me a check up front before I move a piece of furniture in there. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't ever work well because you know what? Sellers get cranky. And they like, well, the furniture's gone. Why do I need to pay you? Yeah, I've never not been paid.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've never not been paid. And the other thing is that the communication with the listing agent. So I would get a call and they would say, oh my God, they're gonna close escrow early. Can you have the stuff out in 24 hours? I need a
No.
10-day notice. If I don't get a 10-day notice, we hired a company to move them, and that was in my contract. Because realtors, I'm one, I get that. We get excited if they say, hey, we're ready to close. But there's still furniture in the house. So that's also, the timelines have to be so critically taken care of, or I am not gonna get out of bed at 5 a.m. in the morning because a realtor forgot to call me. It said, oh, I forgot we're closing today. Well, you'll need to get a moving company. So that was part of my contract too. So you have to really communicate with a stager, because it's not fair to them, and they will charge you. And it'll absorb some of your commission, because your seller is certainly not going to say that unless he was unwilling to get things ready. So there's a lot of things that go on behind, like buy sellers. As soon as the house sells, guess what they want to do? They want me to come and get all their staging stuff. And in my contract, it also says we'll only remove content after all contingencies have been removed. And it's a solid
Because you
sale.
don't want to bring it back again.
Because it's gonna charge them again, because you know what they say, well, it fell out of escrow. See that little check? Yeah, you asked for us to come and get it, so you're gonna initial that, you know, that was your choice. So the staging business is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's super rewarding, and it gets your houses sold. It gives you, I think, a big step up in the industry if you have those connections and they know that you're one. I mean, you don't have to be a stager, obviously, but you know who to call and you're going to get it done, and it's going to be tight. The contract will be clear. And it really is a win-win for everybody.
Who do we call for staging?
Well, I love Joanne Maloney. She is upstaged, and I'll get you all their contact information. She bought my warehouse and a lot of my stuff when I sold. It's been a little over a year that I sold. It was really, I had a huge warehouse sale, and I literally, people were taking my stuff, putting it in their cars, and I want to follow them. Like, what are you going to do with it? That was my.
Let me show you where to put it.
Yeah, I'll be right there. Let me help you. Do you know how serious it's not that next to anyway? So we actually, when we set up our staging business to sell, we had little vignettes that all went together, and people would try to break them up. We were like, well, that's not gonna like that over there, and that was not friends. You get very attached to your stuff. So yeah, it's been July 10th. It's been a year since I stopped staging. So what did I miss? Whole different side, huh?
Yeah.
Whole critical side
Well,
of
I'm
the
looking at
business.
this 1,500 to 3,000, I'm just thinking like,
Why not?
for like somebody to
Yeah.
sell $700,000 house, you know, and it just seems like it's gonna make, I mean, I know that it makes a big difference, so.
Yeah.
It's
And I think that everybody thinks of staging as luxury, but it's almost like it gets you thinking in a different way. Like, it's just another tool to add to your arsenal of
Yes.
why you don't have to do it, but this would really help you guys. The
Don't
restyling.
Don't be that agent that just goes in and takes iPhone photos and like
Oh,
toilet seats
no,
up.
no, no.
I mean, you gotta separate yourself, and it's an easy call. It's an easy call to say, hey, Joanne, just need a simple restyle, or, you know, it's gonna make such a difference. Now, I'll be honest with you. Stagers, true stagers don't like occupied staging.
So.
They don't, so it's a little sensitive road. They would rather go in, stage an empty house, because they're not trying to deal with other stuff. I think I was so successful with staging because I did a lot of restyling. I have to talk to Joanne about that to see if she'll do that, because the restyling for the smaller homes is so easy and like a 2-3 hour job. It's not a big deal, and it can change it completely.
Could we pay her to at least
Do a
walk
consultation,
through and do a
absolutely.
consultation?
Yeah.
Even if the people want to try and do it themselves, right? I'm gonna try and do this
Yeah.
myself. And
the consultation will give them, is that,
The consultation can do two things. She'll need to know why she's there. So Joanne, you say, Joanne, I have an occupied staging. Are you interested? And if you explain it to her, said, you know, it's just a young family. You have a very few things, because it can be so chaotic. She's gonna walk, I would walk in, and for $200, I would say, do the dots, get rid of these things, and then find some bedding on Amazon. Let's freshen that up. That could work, but she's probably not gonna come back.
what if we did something if you're getting a good, I mean, I think about this, if you're getting, I pay for photographs, right? I pay for the signage for you guys. What if we went into a listing or potential listing and said, I'm going to pay for a 2-hour consultation for you from a designer, a stager. And then if you want to go beyond that, she'll give you a list of recommendations, like it would be great if she could walk around, give a list of like, we need this, and this. Now, they don't want to do it themselves and they can pay her to do that beyond that point, but at least that first consultation we could take care of. If they want her to actually do it and they don't want to do it themselves, they'd have to pay her, like I wouldn't pay her.
Yeah, and we did a lot of that. We call it the feel home, like make it feel like home, feel home. And we had the categories that would just say, okay, here's the checklist, which I still have all those. We can implement that. See, you're getting, look at you. I wasn't gonna do this anymore. So we can do that checklist, but I can't. I can't, so I can't help myself sometimes. But and it's a great checklist of things that you need to do. And then they'll say, okay, but can you come back and just look at it, and make sure I did everything right. Is it a service to our clients? Is it going to put us above what the other people are doing? Absolutely. And for me, it's so simple to do. It's just that annoying eye that I have.
It just takes a lot of us, of course, we're saying, through that clear me, hey, I'm gonna take care of this for you, spend the $200.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come in and give you some ideas.
Yeah.
From that point, you take it from there, because I think the delivery when you get.
It's the most critical part,
Yeah.
most critical part.
This is the
Yeah.
fun part.
And I feel like we're talking about an actual luxury listing, like you come across, you're in a situation where you're competing and you have a really $600,000 or $700,000 house. This is a tool in our tool bag.
Oh, no, it's huge.
On site, it'd be like, hey, I'm gonna cover, at that point, I'm paying $200 to have somebody come
Yeah.
and look out. And look at this.
So your competition is the Anderson team. So the Anderson team copied what I was doing.
They're luxury, right?
Well, they stage most of their homes,
Oh,
but they have their own staging company. I started that and then which is a compliment. I'm thrilled that they want to copy me. They stage every listing, but their stager now is she's gone and they're struggling because that was such a big part of their business.
do they take listings that are not staged?
Yes. Yeah, and like I said, I love to do aged listings and just kind of figure out when that's going to expire. And I am all over those people on a luxury listing for staging because it needs to be staged. It's price and staging. Luxury people are hard. They're hard because they love their big fancy furniture. They
They're
love
very
it.
prideful.
They're very prideful and a lot of times it doesn't make sense and you walk in and you're just sucked dry by the heavy wood and all of the things that are in the house. I really keep going back to that list.
Connie and I went out, I brought Connie out on a listing and it went horribly wrong. I took her out there, we looked around, I don't know if you guys saw the reel I did of Connie doing all this pointing and all this stuff, so we did this. And so then I am thrilled, Connie's excited, we
Oh, I
are very
get so
happy
excited,
little
yeah.
campers. Them not so much. When I said something about redoing, getting Connie in, all I said was, Connie has some great ideas. They went absolutely sideways. What's wrong with our house? Does she think our house is- That's what they. Does she think our house is disgusting? No. Connie thought it's immaculate.
It's
You can get off the
immaculate,
floor.
yeah.
There's not a leak on the
Oh,
yard.
my
Like, this house is perfect. But the furniture is heavy and the colors are dark and everything. Connie could just see the potential to enhance some of these things they had covered up, like these beautiful pocket doors, all these gorgeous things. But they said, they flat out told me, and I mean, it was boom. They said, we are not changing one thing in the house. Okay, and I moonwalked back out of that conversation, right? Because we're not going to, I'm not gonna force them, but the seed was planted.
Yeah.
And the house is not showing, it's not getting the showings, it's not selling. So that is something that we'll probably go back to. And honestly, Connie said, for $2,000 or $3,000,
I could
this
just
place fabulous.
rock it.
And they were so insulted that It was horrible, like honestly, it was horrible, and I.
No, yeah,
And then I had to apologize, "Oh, I'm so sorry, because I thought they would be like, yeah, because. But listen, what people ask and what they really want are not always the same thing, because when I took the listing, tell us what we need to do. They didn't want to hear what they needed to do, they only wanted to hear what they wanted to do and what they felt, right? When I told them, and I didn't even give them one suggestion,
there was not even a cost.
there was not even anything.
I was just.
We were
strictly-
gonna move some furniture around and they said, absolutely not. Okay,
That's probably the fear factor that I would see, basically, if you get a negative thing and you're trying to be positive about it, because
Yeah.
you want the best for them. And that's what I really.
well,
It's-
after, but after, I did it after I had the listing, I should have done it
Yeah.
before, or while I was getting the listing.
It's
I
just.
did it
yeah.
too late, and then I would have already known, okay, they're not gonna do it, don't even go
Yeah.
then. But I made a mistake, and then I was like, oh.
Staging
shit,
is
get me back
just-
out of this
yeah.
house, you know, like I couldn't.
Well, then I text him, oh, I'm so excited. I can be there on next Wednesday.
And it was.
I was
crickets.
ghosted, man. I
It
like,
was
"Oops,"
crickets.
and then you called me, like, yeah, I didn't ghost us. Okay.
That didn't go very well at all, but you know what? Hey, I learned from Connie, I learned what not to say, I learned. That it should be done at the listing, not
Yeah.
after you already have the listing, and read the audience, right? Know your audience, like Connie
Oh,
said,
you gotta know
if
your
you bring it
audience.
up and they're like.
It's gonna be an art.
It's
No,
hard
And that's why you just hire somebody to come in, because if you're not prepared to have that conversation, staging is just as difficult as pricing. They're mad at you because, are you kidding me? And staging, are you kidding? You know, it's a constant. You have to have that relationship with them. They have to trust you. And if they're not going to trust you, it's not a relationship that's going to be good.
No,
They're going to be mad about pricing, mad about you offended them. I mean, it's tough. Funny story about a house that you sold for me on River Island.
oh yes, the River Island.
Yeah, beautiful home. And my husband, we were headed to Camp Nelson to our cabin. I said, I gotta stop by this house. We just finished staging it and we had no intentions of moving or anything, but it is a pretty spectacular house. And we walked in and my husband goes, oh my God, we should buy this house. I'm like, where are you right now? I was so confused, but it was beautiful. And he goes, and so this is where your mind goes. I want everything in it. I want it just like this. And I said, good, because you own it all. This is all my stuff. And so every time I tell that story, it makes me laugh because I created a lifestyle. That house did not show like that.
No.
It had some odd things to it. And we staged the heck out of the house. And we only did the master. We didn't do any bedrooms or things,
Just the
just the
master.
master. But it showed like $1 million and an older couple lived there. They had died. He had died. It had been vacant. We went in, I think we painted the whole thing and did flooring. And my husband, who I just would never think he'd buy anyway, he loved that house because.
And the
it just-
furniture in it.
And the furniture in it because we created a lifestyle.
You
And
moved
that's
it
my
all
job.
like 4 times in the past.
That he did. Yeah. Good
I didn't
thinking. I said,
realize-
that's how I can make things look so different until people start saying, that was just in the house on Border Lane. Oh, now it's over here on West Scott. Yeah. So anyway,
And when you're, I mean, and then gives them the idea, like Connie said too, of what the purpose is for each
Yeah.
room, right? Because especially like that house on Carmelita, remember the house, it was my house.
Yeah.
And Crystal, there wasn't a purpose to the rooms, that's why I staged it, that's why I had that pool table brought in. Made one room a game room, it had a bar, because otherwise you just kind of like, what do you do with all this space, you know, what are we gonna do with it?
yeah.
And it gave it a purpose and it made it seem homier. And we did the dining room, the living room, the game room. We didn't even do any bedrooms. I was lazy because I'm not a stager, but the bathroom, I did bathrooms, put towels, made it look
Yeah.
cozy. So
It really, it's not that hard. And I don't say that because I'm a trained professional. I say that because it really isn't that hard. And your buyers are usually so amazed. You are such a rock star. And I want, you to be elevated above the competition, saying that I've got this in my bag and I'm gonna pull it out.
okay.
Well, and after you've showed
Oh.
hundreds of houses,
Yeah.
as realtors, we're gonna have a little bit better
Yeah.
eye for basic stuff, at least, you know. So you guys know how it is when you go into a house that's staged. It's
Oh,
like,
such a dream. Yeah, and you go into the other ones and the wet towels are on the floor from the showers in the morning and
And what do you tell
the
your
waffles are out.
After you show a house that's staged looking badass, what do you tell your buyer? This ain't gonna last long.
Yeah, this isn't gonna last.
It's a very good point. Yeah, because, yeah,
I love showing, I mean, I've shown houses where there's underwear clothes on the floor, and I swear to God, I'm walking in front of my buyer.
kicking it.
And I'm kicking it under the bed, you know, like, I mean, because it's disgusting, but,
You know, the back bedroom that has somebody sleeping in it.
oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah, this place looks.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, we'll come to that later. Yeah. So put staging, I guess the bottom line is put staging in your inspection category. In prepping your house for the market, because then it doesn't look like it's, oh, how dare you? No, if you have termites, we need to know. And we need to get your house staged. It's all part of the checklist.
And it's to stand out from the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if you have a client who just wanted to stage one location? What's your best?
Like one part of the house,
Of the house,
I
yeah.
probably wouldn't do it. The reason I say that, because it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
So what's a good one?
Is it studio?
Minimum that-
yeah, is it what part?
Makes the
The min-
house
Oh my
look-
gosh, I don't think there's, that, if I was to walk in the house and they said, I just want to do this. I just want the living room to flow better. I usually can't stop. And I'm flowing into the kitchen, into the bathrooms, and then people come home and they just go, wow, because you can just make such a difference. In one room, it's gonna, just depends on the whole situation.
Well, the
And
cost
that's
probably
be the best,
is,
but like, let's say living room and the master bedroom and leave the two of them.
Yeah. We usually always do the master, because the master, always do the master, the living room and the kitchen, and the bathrooms, we always say, we always touch the bathrooms because that's easy. It's a flower base, some white towels, and maybe some artwork, depending on what it is. Yeah, it's hard to do one room. It just feels like you're cheating.
Well, it's almost like when you do a remodel, you know how you start remodeling a
Yeah.
house and you do one room and then the rest of the house looks crappy.
Yeah.
Because that one looks good and everything else looks, so yeah.
well, it's probably not gonna be that much more expensive to do everything anyways. 'Cause
If we have to show up,
Exactly.
You're already there anyways.
yeah.
I have a question on a vacant home, if you're doing staging, I might have. No, I wasn't that late. Sorry, on a vacant home, if you're doing staging, couches and stuff like that will not apply, and that's probably like 3,000, I would imagine. Should we
Yes.
Not, okay,
So when we would bid a stage, it would include everything.
okay, so it is.
Yeah, so that would, it depends. So just as an example, this is how I staged or how I priced, and we all are pretty close to the same. It was always $200 a room,
Oh,
depending on what I put in.
Okay.
Bathrooms, I would say we would charge $100 a room. So you can see where it adds up pretty well. If we're doing excessive, so then it would be $100 for accessories for the room. So that's how I can walk through a house and price it pretty fast. And then I would give that, it's gonna be from 15 to 1750. And then that usually, because I price it per room, because I know I'm gonna have bedding, and I didn't use real beds. We use platforms with blow up beds.
And that's the initial cost, right, Connie?
And
And
then
then
you
there's the
have the
rental
monthly,
beyond that.
That's the 60-day cost.
Yes,
But that also really pushes them to price that house right.
it does. When you say, okay, now remember,
Because now it's gonna.
we have till August 1, and you're gonna be paying me $750 a month. So how are we feeling?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I can have this stuff out of here in a second. No, I'm just kidding.
the good thing is if it's a staged home, there's a pretty good chance it's gonna be sold
Well,
within that time.
In this
especially-
market, absolutely.
Especially around here. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, how many homes do you guys see that are staged?
Barely.
Hardly any. Hardly.
It's just not fair for us to have to show ugly houses. It's not. I just.
Somebody has to do it.
It's just not fair. It's like, no, we can't. I'm sorry, you cannot see that house. It's not stable. No, I sell from 250 to millions. I do it all.
Connie's lucky, I mean, she's good though, because she has the eye for it. So when she's showing houses, I'm sure you're saying, oh, we could just change this, and you could have this whipped into shape.
Yeah, and then the husband goes, seriously, that was just 40 grand. You just spilled out of your mouth. So, yeah, it's sometimes a curse. It is sometimes a curse, because sometimes they just, I'm not very transparent and I just want to say, oh my God, if they would have, no, don't say it, let them walk through, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
Yeah.
So it's.
I think just having this on your list, listing presentation when you're talking to a client is just. Whether they use it or not, just as a realtor, it's gonna make us look.
Absolutely.
so excited.
No, this is huge because the Anderson team is using it like crazy. I want to teach you guys to do this. I want you guys to have the best tools that you have to really make your listings go crazy. Because when you're proud of that listing, you're excited, the sellers are excited, the neighbors are like, holy smokes, did you see that they have that house listed or stage? And you've got the signage out there, you've got the tick, whatever those things are you guys do, I'll learn that.
TikTok.
The TikToks, yeah. Reels and all that kind of stuff. How exciting are you
And
to
if you-
showcase that listing? I don't care if it's 250,000. How great does that make your seller feel that you gave it just as much attention as you did your luxury?
And
home?
I would do signs for you guys, like
Oh,
little
you have to.
yard signs
Yeah.
that say, what do they
They get
say?
you to get all the furniture too.
No.
Like, we'll have.
That's-
Hey, guys.
Are you gonna be driving when you got a little loading?
I think it's a van, right?
We have
No.
Here's that one. This is.
Oh, my God.
Talked about. Why mixer.
No, you guys really, Sarah and I talked about this and you tell me when to stop.
Keep going. That's-
So I'm so passionate about this that I'm afraid that I'll do it, Sarah. Because I just think it elevates you guys so much, especially in Porterville, in Lindsay. Who does Lindsay?
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised in Lindsay.
We thought, Connie and I talked about having the band and having a new app to say, stay tuned or
Yeah.
stay,
Oh my God.
something about staging and parking that in front of the house.
Oh my
You
God,
know,
it'd be
the
huge.
advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to, I'm so busy and I wouldn't want to disappoint you guys, but I could do the consultations and get things done. It's not like we're gonna own a furniture store, although we did talk about that too.
We talked.
But I tend to get pretty excited about stuff.
What's the lady's name that we call for staging?
Connie Kautz.
Not that we're having.
Not this year.
Yeah,
Everything.
Joanne.
I would be willing, I would put myself out there because I because I get so excited and I want you guys to be the best of the best. We can practice with this. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
It only
But
took,
be gentle with me.
it only took within the first hour of your first meeting.
No, I have this disease, I just have this passion and if you have the passion and you love what you're doing, it's gonna change your world with your listings. And I want you guys to just be able to elevate your listings and I'm sorry, Sarah, I really thought I wouldn't go here, but I did. So I
I'm
just
good
have,
with it.
I have goosebumps thinking about this. So call me, let's practice with a few. I won't offend, and I don't want you there. You cannot be there when I'm meeting with your sellers. Because you need to be removed from that. I am no longer the listing agent. I'm not there to steal your listing.
And so if the seller calls and says that Connie is a jerk, I'll be like, yeah, I know.
I know. We've been trying to keep her on track. No, well, and that's, no, and see, the deal is I used to stage for other agents briefly. Guess what happened? They'd get like 6 more listings on the block because of me,
Yeah.
because it sold fast. So I quit staging for other agents because they're annoying,
You
number
were
one.
helping them.
I was helping them be so successful. So when I stopped, I still get calls every day. If people know that they know this is gonna happen, Sarah. They did.
They're gonna come join downtown.
Yeah, they're gonna come join downtown. They're gonna go, well, Connie staged. I will participate. I know I wasn't gonna do this. Don't tell Jim. No, because it could be.
Tell Jim.
No, don't tell Jim. This is a
Oh,
private.
you're gonna show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell Sarah. So anyway,
Don't-
I'd be willing to practice. How about that? You're gonna have to, somebody has to pay me though. I'm not gonna do it cheap. I mean, it's $200. But let's practice if you're okay with that.
Yes. we will.
And let's just see where it goes. And if it's super successful, then we'll buy a furniture store. I'm
Arlen's.
Yes.
No, you know what it is? It's that Norris furniture.
Oh.
No, not Norris. Harris.
Connie, I have a question.
Oh,
Have
yes.
you have you ever restyled a home and then had the homeowner fall back in love with their home and really not start to really hesitate that they want to sell?
Yes, yes, and that's in my contract, that they cannot. They,
Beautiful. You cannot back
you
out.
cannot back out. No, because then that's not good. No, what they usually do is they want to buy the furniture and take them with them. And I usually will make them a deal. I didn't normally sell all my stuff until I sold all my stuff because of that reason. But I'll usually sell them the bedding because bedding is a hard thing to reuse. And yeah, no, that happens a lot. I have some great videos of people crying, saying, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were here for like 4 hours. What did you do to my house? So yes, no, that is in the contract that they can't back out, or they do owe me a design fee.
Or all you have to do if they aren't saying that is tell them, look, she can do this to the new place too.
Yeah, we did a lot of that too. I don't have time for that much anymore. Yeah, that's usually the second part of my design business.
So we'll do this, and I'm gonna do the consultation fee for my clients, because I just want to get this started, and we want to see
okay.
how this goes. And
Yeah.
then any of you.
You guys are
would like to
willing.
Jump in on it,
You can do it too.
so it's Christopher, there we go.
No, I mean, it's brilliant and all of, the people that are doing it, it's silly not to. No, it's silly not to. Yeah, and sometimes I do ask people to leave their home. It's gentle and they usually, I hope they have somewhere to go. Sometimes they just have to move out, and they have done that for me. If it needs paint and if there's a huge margin of you're at 450, you could be at 6, they'll usually move out. They have somewhere to go. But we won't, that's a whole different class. Yeah. And a lot of times I pre-funded things. I mean, I do a lot of probate work, and the family would just say, do what you do. And I would just do what I do. And it could be $30,000-$40,000 by the time I finish. And then I would get paid at the end of escrow. But that's a whole different
Do
thing.
you have estate sale people that you work with?
Yeah, I do a lot of estate sales.
Because I only have one right now that I refer people to.
Yeah.
She is so busy. They're like
Say-
weeks
yeah.
and weeks and weeks.
So I have 4 right now,
Jamie
estate
owns one.
sales. Yeah, we have 4 estate sales in Visalia right now that I'm just waiting for them to finish so I can get the houses listed. And they like that because I'm gonna come in, the families, who knows where, Denver or Philadelphia or something, and I just handle everything. I've built my business on that. So I think we start small. We'll be uptown design
Yep.
and downtown real estate.
Uptown design?
That's
We
what I-
gotta talk about this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just say.
Just text her, goes, oh my God, I love this. Are you okay with uptown design? She goes, what is it? I said, I'm not sure yet, but I'm really excited and it's gonna be awesome.
Yes, we're good with all
Yeah.
that.
So thank you guys. Yeah. Do you have any other questions? I'm sorry. I hope I didn't talk too much.
Oh,
Here,
that's
right? I've not met you. I'm Connie. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's my kind of.
Well, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. Who's the first? You have one coming
I
up?
have one coming up.
Okay, let's do this.
he's
And I have
gonna be a
been
little
there, like,
bit of a
crazy.
challenge, so.
Yay.
To get Connie to see how this goes.
Well, and that's why it's best if you're not there, because we need to separate. That's what'll be, uptown style show, solo, whatever, because I still own
Yep.
that. But anyway,
Yep.
I'm very excited. I want you guys to just kill it. I want your listings to just like when they see that's a Chris listing, we know it's perfect.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
in a scenario, let's say there's a language barrier, like if we had a Spanish speaking client.
Mhm.
Now, once again, the concept is to keep us out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Who would be able to bring in a translator? What would you
Absolutely.
recommend?
Yeah, you'll have to. I speak French only, doesn't how much.
Okay.
What if it's like a, 800 square foot house, and then you have like a 3,000 square foot house, how do you do pricing? If you do like the whole house, if you stage the house, do you have like a flat rate or?
No, it just depends on how many rooms I'm gonna stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
really.
the size of the living room doesn't matter?
No. Yep.
Because moving the couch is moving the couch.
Yeah, I think that's what's really interesting for people, because it looks like it's such a big deal, but it really isn't a big deal. When you have the right people to deliver a couch, and you have the right stuff, I can stage a house in 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and destage it in about 2 and a half.
Study it.
Yeah, fast. Well, not as fast as I used to be, but I have people who are
How
fast.
far do you
Well, Portal will be the, well, I did River Island. I've done a lot in Camp Nelson.
What about Hanford? and-
Really?
Not,
What
I've
about Hanford and Lemoore?
never done anything in Hanford. Hanford.
You should go there.
If we had a coastal situation.
Absolutely, that coastal is my
Like
direction.
Pismo coastal or?
We have done, we've done the coast. I've done Cambria and, yeah, Pismo and Morro Bay. And my family's home, which is annoying when you get there, expecting to just hang out and they go, I don't know, that area doesn't feel right to me. And I'm like, Connie, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, Connie.
And it needs a little attention. Yeah. anyway.
And we can use the moving van for this. We've got the moving
I'm
van
so
already.
super stoked right now. Come on, when's your next one? When can we go see it?
What's that, the van?
Yeah, no, the van, I'm worried about.
Oh, the
Yeah,
listing?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I
wait.
gotta get. Oh, wait.
So anyway,
Oh,
I'm
she's
keeping
asking.
you guys. I'm so sorry.
Grace is asking, are you gonna be building a staging team? She would love to be a part of that if so.
Yes, I will do whatever within my means to
Yes.
create an incredible opportunity for downtown and you guys to have your, I want your listings to just be the best. Yeah, and if you want to help, that's huge.
This. Downtown was.
Yeah.
But out there,
That next
this
level.
is gonna, that's right, the next level, we're going.
It's going uptown.
Uptown, baby.
Well, thank you guys. I get there